What's up guys, Vress here, and today I'm bringing you my top MMORPGs for 2017. Now obviously this is very subjective and it's impossible to say which is the best MMO because everyone is going to have different opinions and be drawn to different features, so please feel free to share your favourite MMOs in the comments down below. Now this list is in no particular order, it just shows the MMOs that I'm currently enjoying the most in 2017. I'm also not including any upcoming titles and I'll probably put together a different video for that. So let's start with Guild Wars 2. Now for a game released in 2012, Guild Wars 2 provides some absolutely stunning visuals. It's definitely one of my favourite game worlds just due to the fact that it looks so good. And the Heart of Thorns expansion brought even more beautiful lands to explore. A massive strength of Guild Wars 2 is that it provides a really enjoyable storyline. There's lots of really good quality spoken dialogue which I think really adds to the questing experience. The questing system's also a little different to what you'd traditionally find in an MMO. It focuses on map exploration and completion, and while that can still get a little bit repetitive after a while, I think it's quite refreshing overall. Now Guild Wars 2 isn't particularly well known for its PvE endgame, and this might be a bit of a drawback for some people, but it's not like there isn't plenty to do, it's just probably not going to be the first choice for hardcore raiders. PvP on the other hand is a totally different story. This is where Guild Wars 2 really excels as arguably the best PvP MMO on the market right now. The fact that gear doesn't count in PvP makes the game popular with players who don't want to grind gear just to be competitive, it is entirely skill based. This draws a lot of competitive PvP players to the game. Next up is World of Warcraft, still maintaining its title as King of MMORPGs. World of Warcraft has been going strong since 2004, and while the subscriber numbers have been dropping for some time now, it's still a very healthy MMO, with no other game in the genre even coming close to emulating its success. World of Warcraft was the first game that introduced me to MMORPGs back in 2004, and I always come back for new expansions. After the big disappointment of Warlords of Draenor, I've been massively impressed with Legion. If you're looking for a polished endgame experience where you're never going to run out of things to do in both PvE and PvP, then World of Warcraft is probably the MMO for you. My biggest criticism of WoW at present is that the leveling has become a pretty unenjoyable grind. I remember how awesome it felt to level in 2004 before the game was focused entirely on endgame. Unfortunately, it now feels like you can't start having fun until you hit the maximum level. However, when you do hit max level, you're going to see exactly why so many people have been addicted to this game for so long. I certainly wouldn't put World of Warcraft at the top of the list for a casual player, but if you're seriously into your PvP or endgame raiding, then it's a difficult one to argue with. Next on the list is Elder Scrolls Online. Now Elder Scrolls Online is a bit of a dark horse right now. It's a game that had a very rocky start when it first came out in 2014. It lost a lot of players early on. However, big credit has to be given to the dev team as they've really turned this game around, and it's now, in my opinion, a solid contender for best MMO to play in 2017. If you're a player who enjoys a good storyline and likes to feel like the hero in an epic that's unfolding in front of you, then this game is for you. The game offers a good balance of PvE and PvP endgame. It may not be number one for either of these things. In my opinion, those titles go to either World of Warcraft or Guild Wars 2. However, it does a really nice job of providing a decent level of both. When you add this to one of the most immersive storylines I've ever seen in an MMORPG, it becomes a really attractive game. One thing that Elder Scrolls Online has received some criticism for is the combat system. And while it can be a bit of an acquired taste, and yes, sometimes it does feel a little clunky, I personally actually find it really rewarding and enjoyable. Also, the Morrowind expansion has only just been released, with a new storyline, PvP battlegrounds, and fond memories for people who played Morrowind back in the day. This is bringing back old and new players alike. Next up is Black Desert Online. Now Black Desert Online is a Korean MMO which came to North America and Europe in 2016. A lot of the Korean MMOs don't usually appeal to me, but so far I've really been enjoying Black Desert Online. The game is absolutely stunning and it definitely takes the mantle for best graphics out of all of the games featured in this video. Another major draw of the game is the sheer depth of the life skilling available. If you enjoy crafting and trading, then chances are you're going to love Black Desert Online. You can level up countless skills, own houses, employ workers, and even build your own boat and sail around the world. I've never really engaged in this kind of thing in previous MMOs, but Black Desert Online just seems to make it all so much more enjoyable. My criticism of Black Desert Online is that it doesn't provide a great deal of endgame PvE content. There aren't any traditional dungeons or raids, and most of the endgame PvE right now is pretty much grinding. Now some people love that, but it's just not for me personally. However, when it comes to PvP, Black Desert Online really excels. Guilds fight for control of castles in awesome large-scale PvP battles. The exciting action combat system makes these fights a huge amount of fun. One thing I would say is it's definitely worth being in a guild if you're going to get serious about Black Desert Online PvP. Before we wrap up, I want to make a few honourable mentions. You might be thinking the games listed so far don't sound quite right for you, but there's plenty of other MMOs out there to pick from. You could take a look at Final Fantasy XIV. The recent Stormblood expansion has had a lot of praise and is often seen as a competitor to World of Warcraft for endgame PvE. If you'd prefer something in the Star Wars universe, then you could look at the Old Republic, which is really well known for its immersive storyline, great spoken dialogue, and I've also heard a lot of good things about PvP in the Old Republic. If you're really into the economic aspects of an MMO and you like the idea of playing an MMO in space, then you might want to check out EVE Online. And finally we have RuneScape, which probably doesn't need any introduction. It's been around for a long time now, longer than any other MMO on the list, and people still seem to love it, so you might want to check that out too. Of course, there are countless more MMOs that people play and love every single day, so I'd like to hear what your favourite MMO is in the comments down below. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you next time.